Is it really possible for a human body to stay almost untouched after thousands of years? If one day you walk through a desert and stumble upon a preserved human body, how would you feel? And why did some ancient civilizations spend so much effort and treasure just to keep a body from decay? We humans have always had a strange obsession, a fear of disappearance, and at the same time, a deep desire for immortality. That mix gave birth to one of the most fascinating phenomena in human history, the mummy. A mummy means a body, human or animal, preserved after death so it doesn't rot away. But behind that, there's more than science. There's belief, spirituality, and sometimes even power and politics. The story of mummification began thousands of years ago, around 5,000 years back, along the Nile River. A place where the sun burned the sands and the heat itself became nature's preservative. The ancient Egyptians noticed that some bodies buried in hot sand didn't decay as fast. And from there, the idea of making a body eternal was born. At first, it was pure accident. But soon, Egyptians learned to do it on purpose. Instead of simple burials, they began removing the internal organs, the first parts to decompose. They usually left the heart, believing it was the center of emotion and soul. But the brain? It was pulled out through the nose with a special hook. Then the body was dried using a natural salt called natron. This mineral came from desert lakes and absorbed moisture perfectly. The whole mummification process usually took around 40 days. After drying, the body was rubbed with oils and resins and carefully wrapped in linen cloth, layer after layer. But why all this effort? Because Egyptians believed the soul would return to the body after death. If the body was destroyed, the soul would be lost forever. So mummification wasn't just science, but it was a spiritual insurance for eternal life. Over 70 million mummies are believed to have been made in Egypt's long history. Not only kings and queens, but even cats, birds, and crocodiles were mummified. Animals, too, were sacred. The most famous mummy, of course, was Tutankhamun, a young pharaoh who died in his teens and was buried in the Valley of the Kings. In 1922, British archaeologist Howard Carter discovered his tomb. When he opened the golden coffin and saw the mummy inside, the world froze in awe. That discovery changed archaeology forever and started the legend of the pharaoh's curse. Still, Egypt wasn't the only place where people tried to outsmart death. In Chile and Peru, long before the Incas, ancient people preserved their dead with clay, ash, and natural resins. The Chinchorro mummies, about 7,000 years old, are some of the oldest ever found. In China, a woman known as Lady Di was discovered more than 2,000 years after her death. Her skin was still soft, her joints could bend, and scientists even took samples of her blood. No one knows exactly what formula preserved her so perfectly. In Europe, some mummies formed naturally, like Ötzi the Iceman, found in the Alps, frozen for over 5,000 years. When he was discovered in the 1990s, his tattoos were still visible. From him, scientists learned what people ate, wore, and suffered from in prehistoric times. In South America, frozen bodies of Inca children have been found high in the Andes. They were ritual sacrifices to the gods, young girls and boys dressed in fine clothes. Their faces still peaceful, as if they were just sleeping. But the story of mummies isn't always poetic. In the Middle Ages, Europeans actually ground up mummies and sold the powder as medicine. They believed eating the flesh of pharaohs could heal pain or disease. Even Renaissance painters used mummy brown, a pigment literally made from powdered mummies. This bizarre trade lasted well into the 19th century. Yet mummies gave enormous gifts to modern science. By analyzing their tissues, researchers learned what ancient Egyptians ate, what diseases they had, and even what cosmetics they used. Each mummy is a living document, a voice from a silent civilization. But behind all this fascination lies an ethical question. Is it right to open tombs and display human remains in museums? Some believe the dead should rest again, their spirits still bound to their bodies. Others say we must study them, so history is never forgotten. Modern archaeology now tries to balance respect and research. Instead of cutting open bodies, scientists use 3D scans and digital imaging. In recent years, more than 20 royal mummies have been studied using CT scans. They revealed hidden secrets, from genetic disorders to fatal wounds in battle. And yet, we still don't know all the answers. How did some bodies endure time so perfectly? Why did some cultures cling to the body while others let it go? And most of all, why can't humans stop dreaming of immortality? Mummies aren't just relics of the past. They're mirrors of our fears and hopes, proof of our desire to challenge time itself. And maybe one day, science will truly achieve what ancient priests only prayed for. Until then, we'll keep staring into those silent eyes. Eyes that have watched the world for thousands of years, and still seem to be watching us. Maybe the real question isn't how mummies were made, but why we still can't let go of the idea of living forever. What do you think? Will humans ever truly conquer death? Share your thoughts. Maybe the next answer lies hidden in that question itself.